first tab in ATS will give you your recruitment overview. This states how many active vacancies you have, and below shows you how many applicants you have in total, accepted individuals, rejected applicants and new applicants. Onto the second tab along at the bottom is where we can actually create vacancies. To do this, simply click the plus symbol and first fill out the vacancy details. This includes the job title for this vacancy, and below we can use the copy from tab to copy details from another vacancy. This will import basic details but speed up the process. Then below we can specify which company, location and department this vacancy is situated in. And then we can decide the status of this vacancy. This will remain as pending until we have any approvers for this vacancy. They can then approve it and move it into the draft stage and then decide when it goes active. We can specify a closing date for this vacancy, or we can leave it blank. We can enter the unique reference ID for this vacancy and any further supporting comments before progressing to the Approvers tab. Then onto the Approvers tab. In the Approvers tab we can nominate hiring leads. This can be one or more individuals to oversee the vacancy and activity. We can decide when hiring leads can see feedback from others. Either no entirely, yes entirely, or only after submitting their own feedback of an individual. Then below here we can specify the job approvers. These are individuals that can approve the vacancy beyond the pending status. To add individuals, simply click the Add button and select anyone from the list. Once we've added the individuals who we know can approve, we can decide who of these multiple individuals can approve. Should there be several, we can decide if any one of them can approve the vacancy, if all are required to approve the vacancy, and if all are required to approve in order specified. And then below there, we can decide which individuals can approve the offer being sent to the candidate. Again, simply add the individuals who can accept this approval. And then we can decide, same as before, whether any one of the multiple individuals can approve, if all must approve, and if all must approve, they must approve in a specified order. Next is the Job Information tab. In here we can specify any details we wish to disclose to the candidate before they apply. This can include the salary range in the top here, and below there is a rich text box to enter any further description for this vacancy. This is the information that will be displayed on the screen prior to the actual filling out of the application. We can also insert documents into here, as well as format imaging and other rich text. Next is the Questions tab. Now here we can decide the questions that we wish the candidate to answer upon applying. We can decide whether they must upload a covering letter, and whether they must upload a resume/CV. Below here we can enter an application form for the candidate to download and fill out and submit with their application. And then below here we can manage the list of sources a candidate will quote in terms of reference or where they heard about this vacancy. This is a manageable list, so you can completely construct this of your own decided references. And then below here we have the function to add any further questions to this vacancy. Simply click Add Question and select the type of field it is that you wish to create your question around. For example, multiple choice question could consist of a drop down with optional answers to choose from. Then simply input the options. And decide when adding questions whether you want them to be mandatory or private questions. Following questions is the Scorecard tab. In here we can handle different categories with different questions within in which the hiring leads and other overviewers of the vacancy can score the applicant on. So we can handle all of the questions within this first section by pressing Edit. Here we can title this section as well as give a description. When you're happy with your title and description, go to Next to decide the questions within this. You can simply have a very basic one question per category, or you can make multiple questions to construct a category with detail. To edit or remove any existing questions, simply press the following keys, and to add a new one, click Add Question. Simply just enter the question in the mandatory field box. When you're happy with your entries, just make sure you save the category and do the same for any other categories you'd wish to construct questions for. You can even add more categories as well. And then the very last tab is the Notifications tab. Here we can decide whether a weekly report email is sent to administrators, hiring managers, or hiring leads. And we can decide whether notifications via email are sent immediately or daily. And below here we can decide who is alerted when new applicants are entered and when new scorecards are submitted. And very lastly, we can decide for anyone to receive notifications in a particular stage of the pipeline. If we click Add Stage, simply select from a drop down which stage it is you wish the individual to receive notifications at. Then, when the corresponding applicant is dropped into that stage, the email alert will go to the relevant hiring leads, hiring managers, or administrators. When you're happy with all this setup, click Save. The vacancy will now exist in pending. So we need to search using the search bar at the left and find all vacancies with the status pending. From here, any available approvers will be able to move this vacancy into the approved section. Once approved, this vacancy will become draft. It is mandatory that a reason is given. Now going up into the draft section, we find the vacancy we just created. And from here, now that it has been approved, it can be made active by any of the nominees. We can also search through all existing vacancies by name, status, hiring leads on the vacancy, approvers, company, location, department, and source.